Welcome back to the channel. I decided to do this video. It's impromptu. I don't have a script. I am outside, as you can see. Probably picked the wrong time of the day to record. We'll see how this looks when I go in the house and edit it, if I decide to edit it. But I just wanted to come on real quick to talk about mourning the loss of leaving a toxic job. Those of you who come to the channel, you know that I talk about my experiences and leaving a toxic job. But in talking to other women who have left toxic jobs, leaving a toxic job does not end all of the trauma that you have experienced while you were at that toxic job. It doesn't just go away. You have to heal. There is a healing process. And I had Dr. Kimani Norrington Sands on the channel a few videos ago. Maybe it was the last video, and we talked about healing. She's actually doing a masterclass with Anne-Marie Archer, the anti-HR lady. And part of that masterclass is dealing with the healing process, getting it going, how to go through that. But I don't think that I have talked enough about the mourning. And I don't mean mourning. I know I sound like I'm saying mourning, the mourning process. And you may say, why would you mourn a job that was hurtful and harmful to you? It's the same thing when you leave a bad relationship. The relationship was not good for you and it was harmful to you, but you still mourn it. You still miss that relationship. As far as a job is concerned, think about it. You're at work 8 hours a day, minimum usually. And that's more time than we spend with our families most of the time. Our families, our spouses, significant others, right? So it, to me, would not be normal to not mourn that loss. And that's not saying that people who don't mourn the loss are not normal. They are too. They just deal with things differently. But I just felt like I have not done a good enough job of explaining, yes, I left a toxic job. But when I left that toxic job, I did mourn. There are days when I wake up sad because I lost something. And for me, it was a career that I was very proud of. So when it first started happening, when I first went through the mourning process, and I've gone through it more than once, I didn't understand it. It was one of my daughters who said, Mommy, you were on that job older than I am. My oldest daughter is 26. When I thought about it in that perspective, it made sense. So I just wanted to come on today to say, hey, if you have left a toxic job and you feel some kind of way because you miss it, not that you miss the behavior and the feelings that you got from being at the job that were harmful to you, you miss what you left. Maybe you had a legacy. You had a dream when you started that job, whatever the job was. If you were a teacher, you had a dream of helping children. If you were a public servant like I am, you went into that profession to make a difference. And you had dreams, you had aspirations, you had goals. Yes, you were in tune with the organizational goals, but you had personal goals. I know for me, there's so many things that I wanted to accomplish that I did not get a chance to accomplish because of the harassment, because of the bullying, because of the constant abuse. My mind was focused on just surviving. And that wasn't the whole 27 years, but it was a lot of it. And I mourn the fact that if I had not gone through that, even though I made some large contributions, and I've mentioned in a prior video, I was a part of a major move, of a major program that was the first of its kind in this nation. And I was a part of that inaugural management team, and I'm proud of that accomplishment. But sometimes I think about what would have happened? How much more could I have contributed if I had the mental and emotional freedom to just create and problem solve? What more could I have contributed? And those are the types of things that when I reflect upon my prior job, that make me sad sometimes, if I'm honest. Because I think that had it not been for the emotional baggage that weighed me down, I would have been freer to be creative. And I am a creative person, very creative. And I mentioned that I was in government, and a lot of the situations and problems that we have in government, whether it's local, state, or federal, is that many of the processes that are in place are outdated and requires a new type of thinking, an out of box thinking. And I have that. I naturally think out of the box. I'm a left-handed person, so we different already. Okay. I was born in the 60s, so I came out different. I was born in Berkeley. Hey, that's totally different. And for those who are outside of the United States, Berkeley, California is known for bringing hippies and all kinds of stuff. But I naturally am an out of the box thinker, right? But when I reflect on just the mental and emotional energy that I had to exert just to make it through a day, it didn't leave room for me to be creative all the time. And I'm not crying, I just have something in my eye. It didn't. And those are the type of things that I probably mourn more than anything. And then the people. I'm a natural trainer and mentor and coach, and I love training people. I love mentoring. I love providing resources. One of my peers used to call me the connector because if I had information, I'm one of those people that store weird stuff. You tell me something, I store it, and then somebody will come tell me, Colette, A, B, C, and D. And I'm like, oh, I just met this person who does that, and I connect them. So she called me the connector. And I loved connecting people to the resources that they needed or to people that they needed. I loved it. And what happened is when I was experiencing some of the bullying and the toxic environment, I think I just shut down. I know I shut down and I existed pretty much on autopilot, just survival mode. So I thought, you know what, Colette, you're not really providing a complete story if you don't talk about that while you left that toxic job, you did mourn leaving that job. And I did. I really did. And sometimes I still do. I still do. So I don't want people to think, oh, she left and everything's hunky dory. It is hunky dory now. Don't get me wrong. Okay. It's hunky dory. But I just feel like there was so much more I had in me to contribute. And when I could no longer tolerate just sitting there being quiet. While I was being harassed and I wasn't always quiet. So I'm gonna just keep that real. There's so much more I could have contributed. There's so many other ideas that I had and so many more problem solving activities or skills that I could have contributed to the organization. But unfortunately, because I was just trying to get through the day most of the time, those ideas and that creativity lie dormant, almost trapped or entangled or tied up because, again, most of my daily energy went towards making it through the day. So I just wanted to come on and say, hey, if you have left a toxic job and you find yourself going through a period to where you're grieving or you feel mournful about leaving a toxic job, I think it's normal. Now, I'm not a psychotherapist or a therapist of any kind. I'm just saying, to me, it seemed like a human type of thing to mourn. And I find what helps me is reflecting on the things that I did accomplish that I'm proud of, thinking about those. For example, I talked about the program that I was a part of, a historical program, which put me in a position to be considered a subject matter expert, to where I had other states calling me directly to provide lessons learned and best practices on how to implement similar programs in their state. So that was great. And that makes me smile because not only was I able to help people here in California, which is where I live, I was able to impact other states that called me for assistance. I was able to implement and roll out a leadership academy where I was able to create numerous competency-based leadership training modules, and I was able to deliver them during the lunch and learn. And I had numerous people who actually got promoted. Some of them passed me in promotion, okay, who accredited the courses that I offered through the organization that I was the president of during the lunch and learns as helping them go to the next level. So I take credit for a lot of those promotions. And I even had some of the people graciously say, this class helped me, this course helped me, you helped me. And yes, I won a state award for my efforts. And I also won an international award. And I'm not bragging, I'm just saying that's what happened. But the thing that touched me most was when people came and said, you helped me. So those are the type of things that I reflect on when I am sad or when I feel like I'm going through a grieving process. You might see the light changing because the sun is moving around. And I probably won't re-record this. You might just see a dark video. But I just wanted to say, sis, brother, because they get mad at me when I leave them out, okay? It's normal. Let the grieving happen. Let the mourning happen. I got a therapist that helps me. So let's talk about a few things that I have done to help me go through the grieving process. One, as I mentioned, have a therapist. Two, I think about the things and reflect upon the things that I was able to do and contribute while I was working. Four, I need to learn how to count. First of all, three, I look at what's going to happen in the future, what my next chapter is going to look like. Okay. And I took a rest. I took a rest and I did not rush myself. And I encourage you to give yourself the time that you need to progress from phase to phase. And I forgot all the phases of loss, but this is a loss. I think it's acknowledgement, anger, and all the things. You can look them up. I probably should have had them, but I don't. But allow yourself to go through those phases. And even if you got to jump back a phase, allow that. Allow that. And allow yourself to grieve, to mourn, to be sad for what you left behind. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with somebody who you think may benefit from it. I would really appreciate it, and it would help somebody else. Please remember to subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this, and hit that notification bell so that you are notified whenever I upload new videos. Thank you for watching, and until the next video, we'll talk.